have a very good evening and a heartfelt welcome to one and all who have joined this interactive and insightful session with Ms. Urmi Sinha ma'am. They say success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you're doing or learning to do. The topic of today's session, that is how to clear UPSC exam in first attempt, is being conducted with Ms. Urmi Sinha ma'am, who in her very first attempt, at a very young age of 22, not only cleared the exam, but managed to top it with the All India rank of 170. She hails from Bengal and finished her formative and formal education from Havra and Kolkata. She is a BA honors in political science. And we are nothing short of awe, inspiration, and aspiration of her amazing success at such an early stage. We are honored and privileged to share us with the insights on the endless question that runs in the minds of countless aspirants with regard to the preparation. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Urmi Sinha ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much for such a kind introduction. Uh, I'm glad to join you for this interaction here today.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's our pleasure, privilege, and honor to have you here. So, since this is an interactive session on how to clear the exam in the first attempt, the first question that runs through our mind, ma'am, through all of our minds, is that you have amassed the success at such an early stage and such an in your first attempt, and it must be backed by years of hard work and dedication. I want you to share us with your journey. With when did you actually first think of starting the preparation and how you proceeded with it and worked towards it?
Okay, so I had decided that I would give this exam at a very young age. It was first my parents' dream when I was around 6 to 7 years of age. Later on, it became my dream as well. So I started preparing for this exam full-fledgedly only after graduation. But I had started reading the newspaper, for instance, when I was in class 9. I also chose humanities in class 11 and 12 because I wanted to go for this exam despite being the school topper. I had got 97%, and it came as a shock to a lot of people that I did not take up science. Uh, but I had decided that this is what I wanted to do. I did not want a career in science. So I thought uh, becoming familiar with humanities subject like political science or geography, economics, sociology, these would help me in achieving the goal that I want to.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, it brings me to another question, that is, you started your preparation maybe after graduation, but that idea of or a clarity of that you want to proceed with this exam when you grow up or be part of civil services is something that helped you crack that exam at such an early stage. I want you to share with us, how do you think it would help the aspirants to start the preparation as early as their graduation years in the college or right after they finish their school or in the school? If you could please shed the light.
Sure. So I think this is a very competitive exam. Everybody knows it. Lakhs of people appear for prelims. Only over 1,000 get selected. So, if you start early, if you have that clarity of thought, and you also start putting in those small efforts, for instance, just reading the newspaper every day, I think that will certainly give you an edge at a later stage of your preparation. For example, in my prelims, also few questions came which I had not directly prepared during the part of my preparation, but I had studied at some point in life. So if you study everything that you do, whatever subjects that are there in your school level, your college, if you do that well, I think it gives you an edge. So, and a few things can be done right after class 12. When my class 12 ended, it was the COVID-19 pandemic, and it was the lockdown. So I bought a few books. I bought the Spectrum. I bought Lakshmikant. So my editions are 2020 editions. So I started studying those standard books. Even though I could not retain much at that time, at least I built a strong foundation. I bought a few NCRTs just so that the base is laid strong, and later on there can be multiple revisions. With that, things get registered in your head. You can do value addition in a much better way. And I must emphasize current affairs and newspapers is something that you should start as early as possible.
Okay, ma'am, that was really insightful. And yes, a lot of work with the newspaper is done early on, so we must pay attention to that. Ma'am, how do you think? I'm sure that hard work and perseverance and all of these things of an aspirant is major role player when it comes to preparation. But how do you think a coaching or a mentorship or a personalized program could help with the preparation better to the aspirants?
So again, coaching is a very personal decision, but definitely coaching has a role to play, especially because the syllabus is so vast. There are such a lot of materials. There's a lot of resources that are available in the market, and a young aspirant, a new aspirant who's just starting off with the journey, might get confused as to what are the things that I need to study solely for the purpose of clearing this exam. So I think coaching institutes, through their classes, through their compiled materials, they give you they give you a material that is very precisely exam oriented, so that you are learning whatever is required for the exam. Second, coaching also helps immensely through mock tests and regular revision classes, answer writing practice, so that you're continuously in that mode of preparation. So it helps in consistency. Sometimes when you're preparing on your own, a lot of people might find it difficult to keep the pace of preparation on track throughout the journey, but it's a long journey. It takes 2 years, even if you clear it in your first attempt. The exam itself takes 1 year. So I think coaching does play an important role, but I must emphasize, self-study forms 80% of it, but coaching might provide that 20% extra and provide that extra push for preparation.
100%, especially for the young aspirants who are just joining, it might be a push that they really need. And coming to the same point, some of the people who are joining today are the new aspirants or the ones who are new to the game, as I may. And I want you to please help me break down the process, if I may, for the exam effectively, like how to start if you're starting, what would be the first effective step to take, and how to proceed from there on, and what worked for you. I mean, it's a personalized thing, but still, what worked for you, and how you began, and how you took your steps one by one, if you may.
Okay, so the first and foremost thing that anybody who is decided to take this exam must do is that they should first get familiarized with the full syllabus and the exam pattern. First, you need to know what needs to be done, and only then you can do it. So you need to know what are the subjects that need to be covered. Uh, what is the relative weightage of that subject? What are your personal strengths and weaknesses? For example, I think you should decide on your optional subject as early as possible, because optional carries a huge amount of weightage in your mains examination. So decide on your optional, and this again needs to be on your strength and weaknesses. Do go through a number of topper talks, blogs, mentors. You have coaching institutes who provide a detailed breakdown of what are the relative advantages and disadvantages of optional subjects. But at the end of the day, it's your decision and you need to make it. People have also with unconventional subjects like commerce and accountancy. So you need to prepare. Uh, you need to choose your optional first of all. Second, you need to limit your resources. You need to decide very early on that these are the list of standard books. These are the NCRTs. These are the perhaps some advanced books if you're doing optional or uh, you find some difficulty in some subjects, you can also move beyond standard books, but that should be very limited. No matter how much you study, nothing is going to seem perfect or nothing is going to seem sufficient. But multiple revisions can only be done when you have decided that you have fixed the number of resources. So I think this is something again that needs to be done right at the beginning, and don't get affected by what other people are studying, what other people are buying. You need to just have faith in what you have decided for yourself.
Agreed, totally. So basically, it is that you start your preparation, and the first thing you need to do is fix your optional subject that you want to pursue, and then also be fixed to the material that you want to continue with, and maybe add on later to it. So, with that, major thing that we have observed is that generally students struggle a lot with management of time with respect to how to study simultaneously many subjects and revise at the same time and be disciplined throughout the process and divide your subjects properly. So if you could shed some light on the importance of discipline and of time management, it would be really helpful.
Yeah. So again, as I had mentioned earlier, this exam in this exam, no matter what you do, it will always seem insufficient. So you have to put in that effort with that consistency, perseverance, and dedication that you put in those number of hours every single day. And that needs to be fixed according to you. It can be 8 hours, it can be nine. You need to do that every day. It might seem difficult at points of time to sit on a table when other people are having fun, but you just need to keep faith. The process will show its results. So that can be a motivation for your discipline. And as far as time management is concerned, again, because there's a huge amount of thing that needs to be done. You need to study geography, polity, economics, different subjects in general studies. You need to prepare your optional. You also cannot ignore CSAT. You have to read the newspaper every day. Besides that, you have to follow certain other current affairs sources like magazines. So I think you need to divide your time effectively. For example, if you're giving 2 hours to coaching or classes, the you need to put at least 6 or 7 hours to self-study. In that, around 1.5 hours to newspapers every day. Some days might stretch to 2 hours for newspapers, and that's fine. It won't make much of a difference. In the beginning, you might find it difficult to complete the whole newspaper in 1.5 hours, but try to do that gradually. Uh, and moreover, do not ignore CSAT. A lot of people struggle with CSAT and sometimes clear their GS paper in prelims, but fail CSAT. So in that schedule, there's a lot to be done, and that's why people ignore CSAT. But you need to just half an hour every day. So you need to do every day, and you need to do everything, a little bit of everything every day.
That is a great advice, and I'm sure it will be helpful to a lot of us. I just want to say that these were the questions on my end. I am now passing the mic, as I would, to all the students who have joined us, all the aspirants. You may ask your question to ma'am, and please ensure that one person is asking it one at a time, and rest of you unmute your mics. And I pass on the mic to you all now. No one with the questions? Any one of you may ask questions or the doubts that you have regarding the preparations, any of the questions that you feel would be necessary for your preparations.
नमस्ते मैम।
Hello, Shantanu.
नमस्ते।
Yes, go ahead with your question.
हाँ मैम, मैं पूछ रही हूँ कि कौन सी न्यूज़पेपर मैम अच्छी होगी मतलब डेली के लिए।
ठीक है, तो मैंने तो इंडियन एक्सप्रेस पढ़ा। जब मैंने बताया कि मैं क्लास 9 से न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ रही हूँ, तो मैंने द हिंदू भी पढ़ा एट अ पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम। मुझे पर्सनली इंडियन एक्सप्रेस का इंटरफेस और जिस तरीके से आर्टिकल्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं वो मुझे पर्सनली बेटर लगा। कुछ लोग को हिंदू लगता है, तो आप कुछ टाइम आप दोनों न्यूज़पेपर ट्राई कर सकते हो। आप इनमें से दोनों ही कोई भी एक करोगे तो चलेगा। आप पर्सनल प्रेफरेंस हो सकता है कि आपको एक थोड़ा ज्यादा बेटर लगे, किस तरीके से आर्टिकल्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं, जो भी आपको कंफर्टेबल लगे इन दोनों में से। इन दोनों के अलावा कोई वैसे स्टैंडर्डाइज उतने अच्छे न्यूज़पेपर्स है नहीं।
ओके मैम।
Anyone else who would like to ask any question?
मैम ऑप्शनल
Ma'am,
के लिए कौन से सब्जेक्ट अच्छे होते हैं,
मैंने
इजी
मेरा ऑप्शनल
स्कोर
पीएस।
करना।
हाँ, हाँ, तो ठीक है। आ, ये बहुत डिटेल्ड में आपको ऑनलाइन भी मिल जाएगा, फिर भी मैं थोड़ा सा आइडिया दे देती हूँ, आप खुद भी रिसर्च कर लेना। पर मैं आइडिया देती हूँ। मेरा ऑप्शनल जैसे पीएसआईआर था, मैंने ये लिया क्योंकि मुझे स्कूल टाइम भी पॉलिटिकल साइंस इंटरेस्टिंग लगा था, तो मैंने ऑनर्स भी इसी और अच्छे मार्क्स भी आते थे, इंटरेस्ट भी था, तो मैंने फिर इसी ऑप्शन को कंटिन्यू कर लिया। मेरा इंटरेस्ट भी था क्योंकि अ, जब आप जब आपको इतने लंबे टाइम के लिए एक ही सब्जेक्ट पढ़ना होता है, तो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू हैव अ कीन इंटरेस्ट इन दैट सब्जेक्ट, ताकि आपका वो इंटरेस्ट सस्टेन रह पाए। Scoring optionals again depends. Anthropology people say is very scoring. PSIR also fairly scoring. A lot of toppers have PSIR. Other scoring subjects I'm not exactly sure of it because मैंने ज्यादा इस पे सोचा ही नहीं। मुझे PSIR पसंद था, मेरे मार्क्स उठते थे तो मैंने ले लिया PSIR। आप देख सकते हो ज्योग्राफी लेते हैं कुछ लोग हिस्ट्री भी लेते हैं। Public administration is also
मैम
considered scoring, so you
सोशियोलॉजी
can
कैसे
think.
है, सोशियोलॉजी।
अच्छा हाँ, sociology I miss, sorry. हाँ, sociology is considered a very scoring option. A lot of toppers have it. People who have never studied sociology also take up sociology and end up getting very good marks in it, become toppers also. तो sociology भी काफी अच्छा subject है. I missed it.
ओके।
any other question?
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes.
First of all, ma'am, congratulations on topping the UPSC. Ma'am, I want to ask that since the UPSC syllabus is very vast, how did you manage it? I mean, did you study from limited resource only, or did you also do some extra?
So your question is that whether I stuck to limited resources or I did something extra.
Yes, ma'am.
Just okay. Okay. So I, for me, the books remained the same. I did not keep on adding books that people are saying, oh, this book is good for environment. So I'll study that also. I did some research and I fixed fine. I mean, if people are recommending this book, toppers are saying that this helped them, this must have some value. So I took that book and I stuck to it. I did multiple revisions. I revised Lakshmikant for like 7 times, perhaps 7, 8 times. Besides that, as far as that extra thing is concerned, I did value, especially the standard books are often found lacking. So there I relied on perhaps some coaching notes or articles. Current affair articles are a very good source of value addition. Sometimes I also use a few chapters of advanced books like G.C. Leong's chapters on biomes. So, but primarily I stuck to sources and revised it multiple times. Does
Okay,
that
thank you.
answer? Okay. Okay.
Anyone else? Ma'am, could you please shed some light on the importance of essay writing, maybe? Because most of us are new to the scene. They're not very well versed with the syllabus and how the exam pattern goes on. So, essays are a crucial part of the preparation. Could you maybe tell us something on it?
So essay is a full-fledged paper, and we have seen that people who have cleared this exam, who have topped this exam, have got very good marks in essay a lot of times. For this year, we are still not aware of how much marks have been got by people who cleared this exam in the essay paper. But generally, people have scored around 140 also, 140, 130. This is a score which helps you get a rank in other subjects like GS3, marks have been generally on the lower end. No matter what people have done, they have not been able to go past that 100 mark very often. So if you score some extra marks in your essay paper, that will definitely help. And essay is also something that needs continuous improvement. It does not have a fixed formula. So you need to start practicing essay writing. I started practicing essay writing after I cleared prelims. But I used to write essay. I used to get them checked by people. I used to show it to my friends, to my family, whatever inputs they provided. You can have peer groups where you can write essays every day. You can also essay something that does not require you to complete your syllabus. You can start it right now also. You can read a few toppers copies of essay and you can start it right now.
Okay, ma'am. As a student of PSIR, somebody who's not from the same background and graduation or something of that sort, how do you think, what do you think could be like extensively helpful to get that extra mark or score that extra?
You need to do that extra cautiously because you do not know that which are the books or which are the notes available in the market which are of some standard. At least people who come from that background can at least judge that yeah, this looks something that is of some standard and this is something substandard. So take help of people who are from that background, take help of mentors, take help of topper talks. Okay. And besides that, in optional, be it PSI or in any other optional, in order knowing for mock tests for every stage of the exam, be it prelims, mains, or interview, also for the optional subject, so that you know that must adopt.
Okay, ma'am, that was really helpful. Uh, about the interview, uh, you recently faced a panel and asked you in a personality test, or what are the questions they ask you in a personality test? Are they checking your knowledge or are they checking the content? What are the things they focus on? If you could please share the insights on that.
So the UPSC interview is called the personality test for a reason because no matter which has cleared means has that amount of knowledge, has a certain benchmark of knowledge that has already been tested. Now they are testing a lot of things: your personality, your ability to perform under pressure, your ability to handle stress. How do you perform in front? How do you speak and carry yourself in front of such an experienced panel? How are you able to hold your nerves in an interview which has the potential of deciding the rest of your life? So in my interview also, there were not a lot of questions that I was not able to answer, but there were around three questions where one question was about musical gharanas. I have absolutely no connection to music. I had not mentioned in my DAF, but they asked me randomly about musical gharanas, and I had a very vague understanding. So I just admitted it that not being a person who is very interested in music, uh, I think a gharana is something of a classical musical tradition in India. I named a few gharana like Lucknow gharana, and I said this is the limit of my knowledge. So the panel member just smiled and said, "Okay, then let's move on to something else." And I don't think that affected my interview at all. Uh, there were a few questions, question suggestion based. What would you like to do? And I could offer one suggestion, and the panel member had another suggestion in mind. So she suggested it. And I said, yes, ma'am, I think that is a good suggestion. And I said why I thought it was a good suggestion. And they're basically testing how you're able to carry yourself out. But I must add that your personality is also shaped by your knowledge. So knowledge cannot be ignored completely. You need to know about the things that are happening around you, like the Russia-Ukraine war, or there were a few comments made by the Bangladesh uh, chief advisor, Mr. Mohammed Yunus, just 3 days before my interview. So there were things about that. You need to be aware, broadly aware, but you need not know every small factual detail.
Agreed, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now, there is one person in the chat who is asking about the importance of role of mathematics in CSAT. Most of us are afraid of mathematics. So how much role does maths play in the exam of CSAT?
So the CSAT paper can be divided into different parts. One is reading and comprehension, which which has 25 to 30 questions, something in between. Logical reasoning has around, I'm not very sure, maths has around 40-45 questions, and logical reasoning along with it. I'm not sure, I'm forgetting it. But maths has a lot of weightage, and reading and comprehension is something that some students find it very tricky. They're not able to judge which is the correct answer. But maths is something that if you practice, you can be sure that this is going to be the correct answer. But personally, for me, I make a lot of silly mistakes in maths. There might be a lot of people who do the same, who are not comfortable in maths. So you can work on reasoning also. You can work on reading and comprehension, but do not neglect maths completely. Sometimes UPSC might give a paper where reading and comprehension is too tricky to solve, where you are not getting sure. So do not ignore any aspect. Yes, some very complicated aspect of maths, like permutation, combination, you can leave that out if you find it's too tricky for you. But do basic maths like speed and time, clock, calendar. These are simple. These involve simple tricks. You can watch videos on YouTube. Uh, Solve PYQs, very important. The pattern broadly remains the same throughout the years with just upgradation of levels. So maths has an important role, but you can if you're not good at maths, you can compensate it with reading and comprehension and logical reasoning.
Okay, so maths is manageable. One needs to strategize it properly and it could be tackled well. Anyone else in the group who would want to ask some question? You are open to ask.
मैथ्स के लिए कोई पर्टिकुलर बुक पढ़ना पड़ेगा, मतलब सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा?
मैंने मैथ्स के लिए कोई बुक नहीं पढ़ी. मैंने एक बुक मंगाया था अरिहंत का, वो सीसैट के लिए एक बुक है. इन जनरल वो उसमें बेसिकली पीवाईक्यू से उठा के टॉपिक्स बनाए गए हैं. जैसे क्लॉक्स पे सवाल पूछे जाते हैं, कैलेंडर्स पे सवाल पूछे जाते हैं, टाइम टाइम तो मैंने बोल दिया, स्पीड एंड डिस्टेंस पे पूछे जाते हैं, परम्यूटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन पे पूछे जाते हैं. तो उस बुक में उसके हिसाब से चैप्टर्स बना के डिवाइड कर दिए गए हैं और कुछ प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चंस दिए गए अलॉन्ग विद पीवाईक्यूज. तो मैंने वो किया. मैंने यूट्यूब पे वीडियोस देखी जो कम टाइम पे आपको बताते हैं कि कैसे सॉल्व करके देना है एक क्वेश्चन, क्योंकि टाइम कॉन्स्ट्रेंट भी है. तो स्टैंडर्ड बुक मैथ्स की उसमें इतना हेल्प नहीं करेंगी. आप सीसैट का कुछ बुक मिले तो आप उसको ले सकते हो. आप यूट्यूब पे वीडियोस देख सकते हो और पीवाईक्यूज करने ही है. सबके पीवाईक्यूज ही करने हैं, सीसैट का भी इग्नोर नहीं करना है.
अरिहंत बोले ना बुक के नाम?
हाँ. हेलो
मैम, नोट्स कैसे?
नोट मेकिंग मैंने बहुत एक्सटेंसिवली नहीं की थी, क्योंकि आजकल बहुत सारे बुक्स आते हैं जो ऑलरेडी नोट्स के फॉर्म में ही होते हैं. तो आप वापस से उसको रेप्लिकेट करके अपना टाइम वेस्ट ना करें. पर मेंस के टाइम आपको नोट्स चाहिए होते हैं हैंडी, ताकि आप जल्दी जल्दी आप सबको रिवाइज कर पाओ. इतने सारे टॉपिक्स होते हैं, इतना कम टाइम होता है. एक दिन का गैप भी नहीं होता जीएस पेपर्स में। तो नोट मेकिंग उस समय बहुत हेल्प करती है कि आप जल्दी जल्दी रिवाइज कर लो, और आपके ओन वर्ड्स में होते हैं, इजी लैंग्वेज में होते हैं, तो आप जल्दी उसको हाईलाइटेड होते हैं नोट्स, तो आप जल्दी से उसको रिवाइज कर पाओ। तो नोट मेकिंग रिविजन के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, पर आप बेसिक बुक्स जैसे लक्ष्मीकांत उन सब के नोट्स बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप उसको वहीं पे बुक में मार्क कर दो कि ये इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है, सेकंड रिवीजन या थर्ड रिवीजन में मैं सिर्फ यही इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट देखूंगी, ऐसे आप कर लो। और करंट अफेयर्स के भी कुछ लोग बोलते हैं न्यूज़पेपर के नोट्स, पर मैं न्यूज़पेपर के नोट्स ही बनाती थी, इसके बजाय बहुत सारे मंथली मैगजीन्स अवेलेबल है मार्केट में, कोई एक उठा लो आप, तो आपका टाइम भी बच जाएंगे।
Any other question? Ma'am, for the students who are from the Hindi or Bengali or any one vernacular medium or background of that,
राइट, सो हिंदी में एक प्रॉब्लम आता है, एडेड प्रॉब्लम टू दिस एग्जाम, की मटेरियल उतने अवेलेबल नहीं है। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आप ट्राई करो कि भी इंग्लिश मीडियम से दिया, लेकिन मैं एडवाइस देती हूँ आओ देखो हिंदी मीडियम से किन लोगों ने इस साल या पिछले साल उसके पिछले साल क्लियर किया है ये एग्जाम, क्योंकि बेस्ट वे टू लर्न इज दैट यू लर्न थ्रू द स्ट्रेटजी ऑफ अदर्स एंड यू अडेप्ट इट, मतलब आप दूसरों की स्ट्रेटजी से सीखो और फिर आप उसको खुद अपने स्ट्रेंथ अपने वीकनेसेस सिचुएशंस के हिसाब से अडेप्ट करो। तो आप हिंदी मीडियम के टॉपर्स का इंटरव्यू सुनो पहले कुछ दिन, ठीक है थोड़ा टाइम जाएगा पर इट्स वर्थ इट, आप पहले सुनो, उसमें देखो कि उन्होंने कौन सी बुक्स रीड की है, उन्होंने करंट अफेयर्स कैसे मैनेज किया, कौन सी वेबसाइट्स हैं जो हिंदी में करंट अफेयर्स बताते हैं, वीडियोज है आजकल यूट्यूब पे बहुत सारी जो हिंदी में भी यूपीएससी के करंट अफेयर्स देती हैं, तो आप ऐसे प्रोसीड करो।
okay, ma'am. And what was your personal approach or strategy, I must say, towards ethics as a subject? Because ethics also plays an important role in overall scoring of the whatever result you get.
Yes. So ethics again is a full-fledged paper. And again, it is something like essay, which is very scoring also. If you're able to crack the code of how to score in ethics. So you cannot ignore ethics. A lot of people again think कि इसमें तो भाई मतलब normal सी बातें लिखनी होती है, उतना कुछ knowledge base नहीं होता, तो they don't prepare it very well. But I think you should pay attention to it. But I think in the beginning of your preparation, until you clear prelims, you should keep your notes handy. You should have a compilation of all topics at one place. But I think you need not be very thorough with it. प्रिलिम्स और प्रिलिम्स के रिजल्ट आने के बीच में तो जो 10-12 दिन का गैप होता है, मैंने उस टाइम पूरा एथिक्स किया अपना, मेरे नोट्स प्रिपेयर थे, तो अभी आप अपने नोट्स प्रिपेयर कर लो and after that focus on case study, you focus on collection of quotes, because in essay and ethics both you can extensively use quotes and they fetch marks. You can have anecdotes, you can have examples, you can learn about philanthropists, you can learn about great personalities and leaders, and you can use this very effectively in both your essay paper and your ethics paper. So integrate the preparation of both these papers together, and I think you will be good for it.
That's a very helpful advice. Ma'am, one more thing that most of the aspirants struggle with is keeping themselves motivated, especially down or are not very high in their, what should I say, aspiration. So what do you suggest could be done to keep themselves motivated?
Go to them whenever you're feeling low.
That is absolutely true. Anyone else who would like to pursue a question or Ma'am, there is a student in the chat box who is asking what to do for efficient struggle with the answer writing part.
So first of all, for answer writing also, the foundation is knowledge. You need to study extensively, because only when the facts and figures are registered in your head very deeply, entrenched very deeply in your head, will you be able to produce it? Second comes the factor of time management, because you need to write a 10 marker in 7 minutes and a 15 marker in 10 minutes in order to be able to complete the paper. And completing the paper is another challenge. So you need to focus on first knowledge, second time management, third presentation, because everybody, most of the people who give this exam, uh, have the same knowledge base, have the same content. They have cleared prelims. Out of lakhs of people, they are the chosen 14,000, 15,000. You need to make your answer stand out, and you need to make it more presentable, because the person who is checking your script is checking 50 other scripts the same day. So you need to focus on flow charts, diagrams. Some people struggle with handwriting. Work on your handwriting if that is an issue for you, and use bullet points. Do not make it in the form of long paragraphs. These are the things that you will also learn that through going through different topic copies. You will learn that, and it's not very difficult. It requires effort, but it can be done.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, one more student in the chat box is asking regarding the short notes for the last minute revision. You already emphasized on how you prepared your notes or how you highlighted the value points that you would rather come back later on. But there is a role of short notes in revision at the last moment that you would be needing to prepare. Could you please shed light on that?
So, last minute preparation notes are primarily for your mains examination. In prelims, because everything is so factual that you need to just, you definitely short notes will help you in revision, but not very effective. But means you have a limited number of topics. So, prepare you use A4 sheets, prepare two-pager notes. One page becomes a little too less. For me, it became too less. So, 2 page, 3 pages A4 sheet, and 2 pages, I'm saying front and back included, like one page, both sides, 2 pages. Okay. So, I think that much for each topic should be handy for you by the time you write your mains. Perhaps not till prelims, that won't be an issue. But for your mains, you need those topics, those two-pager notes in your hand.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. We live in a world of distractions right now. There are distractions like social media and various other platforms. How do you think a student can navigate through those distractions and stay focused? How did you manage to do it? Since you're also very young, could you please tell us that?
Uh, so again, I mean, for me, I've been able to kind of uh, not master, but get familiarized with the art that I will be on social media platforms. I will stay in touch with friends. I will watch a few movies here and there, but I will not let that come in the way of my preparation. If I have decided that I will study for 10 or 11 hours a day, I will ensure that I do that. At the same time, I think if you make your preparation start feeling like a burden to you, if you cut yourself completely, the preparation will not, the journey will not seem enjoyable anymore. You might have stronger urges to give up. Instead, if you use social media effectively, if it's for a very limited time span, you have time limits on your phones. You can put time limits for every app. You can put time limits for your entire phone also. Like there's DND mode, there's a mode, focus mode, there's focus mode. So you can use those modes so that you're connected to people, connected to society, and yet are able to yet do not get distracted. And social media, a lot of people have emphasized, if you follow the right kind of pages, if you follow, for example, India Today, Indian Express, they provide news in a very small format point, and a lot of times those things get tasked, or you can provide them as examples in your answers.
100%. It could be as useful as possible if you keep it in the right track. Ma'am, there is another student who's asking, what are the 3 key habits that helped you succeed in UPSC examination? What were your personal 3 habits that you felt helped you in the journey?
Okay, so first of all, reading the newspaper. I absolutely love reading the newspaper. So this is a habit that helped me immensely through all these three stages. Second habit of even if I do not like a subject, just going through with it. Just just keep going. Even if I do not like history, I did not like history initially, but I thought karna to hai. So this habit that even if you don't like something but it's necessary, you need to do it. And eventually I started liking history. So if you have that determination, you will eventually start liking the process as well. Third habit, I would say, particularly for exam, I think I also practice a lot of answer writing. So answer writing definitely.
Thank you, ma'am. There is another student who is asking that which GS paper needs more focus according to you? Like, which GS paper needs more attention compared to the others? If you could shed light on that.
I think this is such a difficult question because all the papers carry the same amount of marks, and uh, more focus, as in, again, you can choose, you can do your SWOT analysis in this. If you think that your essay is something that is your strong point, so work on it to make it even better. If you perhaps think that history and polity is something that you're not very good at, so again, you cannot neglect it. You need to work on that as well. But you can decide कि इसमें जितना भी, if you see that इसमें जितना भी कर लो उतने मार्क्स नहीं उठ रहे हैं मॉक में, तो आप उसमें थोड़ा देख लो कि क्या करना है. But again, you need to focus on your strengths, on your weaknesses. And I would say you give equal emphasis on all papers. Do not neglect ethics. Do not neglect essay. और बाकी GS 1 2 3 का तो कोई सवाल ही नहीं. वो तो neglect essay भी नहीं करना है. ठीक है.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we see that there is a traditional understanding of how to prepare this exam, and one of the aspect of that is Delhi Chalo, because that is where the hub is, and that is where you will find all the mediums and right kind of support and everything. Do you really think that the need to go to Delhi for this preparation is a must, and that every aspirant who goes there must clear the exam? What's your view on it? Please share it with the students.
So I think a lot of people, especially in recent years, have cleared this exam who did not, they went only for their mock interviews. They did not go for anything else to Delhi. And especially post COVID, you have online classes. If you even if you feel that coaching is something that you need, you have online coaching. You also have a lot of coaching institutes budding in other centers in other cities. So you have that option as well. You have online coaching. You have you also have the option of going to Delhi. That is again, I mean, it's nothing is given in this examination, and a lot of people go to Delhi, and sometimes they get too distracted, they get too confused about what to do because there's such a lot of confusion about which is a good material. I've seen people when I went for my mock interview, I've seen people just roaming around ORN and Karol Bagh and just saying, अच्छा उसने ये मटेरियल ये भी ले लेते हैं ये भी ले लेते हैं एंड परहैप्स दे नेवर स्टडी इट. तो दिल्ली जाने से कई बार प्रॉब्लम भी हो जाती है. कई बार पेरेंट्स का वो वॉच नहीं रहता तो आप डिस्ट्रैक्ट भी हो जाते हो. तो भाई अपने स्ट्रेंथ अपने वीकनेस, जैसे मेरा था मैं मम्मी के बिना नहीं पढ़ सकती तो मैं नहीं गई. कुछ का होता है हम घर पे नहीं पढ़ सकते इतना डिस्ट्रैक्शन है तो वो दिल्ली जाना प्रेफर करते हैं. ये आपकी जर्नी है, आपके हिसाब से होनी चाहिए.
Definitely, it's a personal call, but at the end of the day, what works for you is your understanding of it. Ma'am, what do you think is the role of peer group or the study groups that we have that we form when we are studying? The people we find, how can they help us stay motivated or find the right kind of preparation or right kind of motivation? If you could.
Yes. So I formed peer group only for my mock interviews, we used to discuss things, and actually questions got repeated in the actual interview because we used to do it every day. And because my interview was in April, I had 3 months. So we used to discuss it every day, and we had a huge pool of questions and a huge pool of potential answers, good answers to them, and it helped. It also boosted confidence. It gave me a lot of content. I did not have a group for essay, but I used to send it to a friend who used to provide insights. There was just one person, but I mean, a person, a pure person, whatever. So he used to provide insights and you should code this, you should add this, it will look better, it will sound better. So I think because you having the same aim, you are studying the same things, you have the same goals, it helps you keep motivated, it makes the process enjoyable, and it helps you to learn from their experience, from their mistakes, what works for them, what does not. I think that is the ultimate aim of a peer group.
Very, very beautifully put. Ma'am, today's generation, especially not just our generation, but we see that when we are navigating through this journey, it's a long journey for some. So you certainly meet some people who you end up being in a relationship, or in general, you are in a relationship with some person in your life. How do you think that it can affect the thing, or maybe help you manage it better? How to manage it along with your studies? That is another part of the question. That being in a relationship and managing your study at the same time, how could it be worked with?
So, if you're in a relationship with somebody, and if that person really cares for you, cares about your future, cares about that you do something in life for yourself, then fine, be with them. And be with a person who understands that you need to uh, put effort for yourself, put some time for yourself, for your career, for your ambitions, and is okay with that. Does not pressurize you to hang out with them all the time or give them too much time, neglecting your ambitions, your goals. If you got a person like that, it's fine. Put yourself, I mean, it might sound a little selfish, but put yourself above others for some time.
100% agreed. It is your journey foremost, and you must agree. Most of the students who are just starting the preparation, that if someone is at a zero level preparation and is an average student, can they still crack the UPSC exam with hard work? Is it the game of hard work, or is it about being the most knowledgeable or most topper of the students? If you could shed on that.
So, how many of you have watched 12th Fail? I think
Most
entire
of us.
India has watched. Yes,
Yes, yes.
12th Fail. And he came from such a humble background. He came from a very small village. His parents came from very humble background. He did not have monetary support. He did not have resources. He did not even have the internet. We have at least the internet. So, and he cracked it, right? He did not even know what UPSC is. A friend just told him he was going for the state level exam, and he still managed to crack it, right? And there are a lot of people even after him, uh, who weren't good in studies, who were perhaps average or even below average, who had failed a class to do it with hard work. Because if you look at the syllabus, if you go into the depth of the syllabus, it is not a very specialized kind of study. It requires you to be a jack of all. You don't have to be a master of any. So you can do it. You will require determination, hard work, and perseverance, that never say die attitude, the spirit of never giving up. But you can do it. There are countless examples, and you can take inspiration from them.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There are a lot many people who manage their preparation alongside their jobs, who are at a later stage of the preparation, or at least in the early stages of the preparation. But are employed.
I'm
If they do the
I'm
job
sorry to
well,
interrupt.
if you could help us with
The
that.
voice wasn't very clear. I could not get the question. Could you please repeat it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'll repeat it. I'm asking a operation. Some of us are employed or are working jobs. How can we master that part?
So a lot of people have managed to crack it with full-time jobs. There was Shish the Bas ma'am who cracked it last year. She was working in the RBI. She was working till the last stage of a preparation interview. So you need to take out time. If you have big goals and extraordinary ambitions, you need to put those extraordinary efforts. Uh, People I've heard they study before going to their jobs and after coming from their jobs. They still manage to put in 6 hours. So, fine, you will not be able to put in 10 hours, 12 hours, but 6 hours, 7 hours every day has been enough for a lot of people. So, have faith in that. If you think that sometimes a lot of people think that having a job also helps them because it does not put too much pressure on them to crack the exam. So if you think that is the case, continue with the job, but take out time for the preparation and you will be able to do it.
Definitely. Thank you so much, ma'am. The idea of AI being useful in their preparation. What is your take on it? Like, did you use AI tools like ChatGPT in your preparation, or how?
At ChatGPT, AI, because they collate such vast amounts of data, they are able to produce it in a very crisp and concise form. Uh, in a very short span of time, like a few seconds. If you search articles and make questions out of them and then revise them, it is time consuming and time is very precious. It is a part of time management. We were discussing it around half an hour ago. I think AI will also improve your time management skills. But I think AI also a lot of times provides very generalized answers. So you should, for particular examples, or data, you should still focus on making your own notes through newspapers, through current affairs magazines, because AI, when you look at ChatGPT, they will not give a lot of data, a lot of good examples.
Ma'am, there is one student who is asking if you could please share some of the questions that were asked to you in the interview that stood out personally for you and were interesting to you.
All right, I have them written at a place. I will tell you. Okay, so yes, so the most personal question that was asked that when you manage to get into the services, what is the thing that you would like to do? So I started off with generic things like I want to be a part of Fixit Bharat and the Amrita, and they said no. Do you want something specific? What are the areas that you would work? What are you passionate about? So you can say health, you can say education, you can say nutrition, women empowerment, climate change. There's so much, but they want to know your vision about things. So this is something where you can actually express your personality, where you can show that you are passionate about working. So this is something that stood out for me. I think others were all current affairs based, IR based. There were a wide range of questions. I had put cricket as a hobby. So the first question was, do you think flexible pay for players uh, like if they, yes, performance based pay for them, is it a started with a hobby? A very simple question. Gradually towards the end, they took it to a more serious level.
Sounds interesting and intriguing. Thank you so much, ma'am. One last question before we might end the session is if any of our students have any query or if any need is helped, what is the ways we can approach you? Because you've been extremely helpful with understanding the journey and how can we proceed with it and stuff like that.
So I will give you my email. You can write to me. Okay, Urmi fine, URMI FYING, Urmi fine @gmail.com. So you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
write to me. You can write to yes, yes, that is correct. Yes. So you can
Okay.
write to me for queries there, and I would try to respond as effectively as possible.
Okay. Before we come to the end of the session, if anyone, one last question, if any one of you wants to ask, and you know from ma'am, you may proceed. Ma'am, there is one last question from a person. Uh, they're asking, did you ever feel that you wouldn't be able to achieve it? And if such thoughts came in between, what did you do at the time to stay motivated?
I think anybody who prepares for this exam, the thought is very natural to come that what if I fail? And it's very natural because the competition is so huge. It's so much. The syllabus is so vast. There's such a lot of things to do. You can be very good in general studies and still fail CSAT. So that uncertainty about the exam pattern, uncertainty of what's going to be asked, whether your level of preparedness is good. I think that's a very common thing that occurred to me, that occurs to everybody throughout the preparation at different points. But the simple thing is, anybody who clears this exam, you talk to them, you see them, and if you see them one day before clearing the exam, you will not understand, oh, she's got it in her or he's got it in him that they'll clear. And they top the exam. They get All India rank 1, 2. And so people like you and me clear the exam. It's just hard work. It's just the right amount, the right kind of strategy, the right kind of efforts. It can be done. It has been done by so many people. Every year, 1,000 people crack the exam, right? And people like you and me, not people who are exceptionally brilliant, people who are from perhaps ISRO, people like you and me, students. So you can do it.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a heartfelt thanks from the team of GEO IAS. We are filled with gratitude to have you join us. This session has been nothing short of filled with insights and knowledge and a lot of motivation. We thank you for ushering us in a way that we can, from here on, take to a brighter future. I pass my gratitude also to our director, sir and ma'am, Mr. Prince Devangan, sir and ma'am. And I would really feel that we could join you in the future if we need the help of you. Thank you for sharing with us your email ID. It has been great.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was it was always it will always be a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.